So I know that a lot of you are tired of the panels, and I wanted to introduce a little game that I am giving to the panelists. So as each of you are bringing your chairs, I'm going to give this flower to each of the panelists. And this is their wand of rejection that they can use once. So if they raise this plant, they can immediately interrupt and disagree with whoever is answering the question, okay? Rudely lift it up, and the other person needs to stop talking and pass it on to the person that is holding the flower up. If you disagree wholeheartedly with someone else is saying in a mid-sentence, that's what you do. You lift up the plant. If the question is too controversial and you don't want to answer, you can also use the plant. But remember, you can only do that once in this talk. So, Viktor Tron is the true OG that built the decentralized storage. He's the founder of Swarm. I give you the plan. I take you to the stage right there. We're doing it the fast way. This is Kyle, and Kyle is working for Brave Browser. I don't think I need to say even more, but he will introduce himself. Kyle, on stage. Mario and his fried chicken is working for Ethereum Foundation. He might need the flower to reject some of the controversial questions. And this is Meinhard, and Meinhard is building Freedom Browser. So you see what we have on this panel, two people that are representing two different browsers, but their ethical goal is the same. So how can we make sure that they collaborate together? One of my favorite quotes is from Albert Einstein, and he says, if you can't explain your theory or whatever you're working on to a 5-year-old, you actually don't understand it yourself. So, in the context of privacy and this audience and what you are building, tell me in a sentence to a 5-year-old, sorry guys, you're all now very smart 5-year-olds. What are you building and why are you building? Meinhard.
So, I'm building a computer program that allows you to be free and without anyone watching you and expressing yourself, saying whatever you want. And I do that because it's a fundamental human right. Every human on Earth should be able to do that without fear.
Does it pass the check? Did the 5-year-olds understand it? Okay, so, sort of. Okay, Mario, what are you working on? But remember, 5-year-olds.
5-year-old, right?
What Ethereum Foundation does?
Let me not speak on behalf of EF, maybe more of a subjectively, right? But
are you already using the flower?
No, I'm good, I'm good. Just like, yeah. So you know the monster under your bed? It's real. And it's run by very, very bad people all over the world. And we are building a community and technologies that let you keep it under the bed and just feel safe, yeah. And anybody can feel safe with these tools, and anybody can use them, yeah.
I like that. Kyle.
We build a browser that helps bring Web3 technologies to the Web2 world, is probably the best way to describe it.
Okay, I don't think 5-year-olds understand what is browser or what is Web2.
We build software that makes it easier to access all the cool things that you guys build.
Yeah? We give it a pass? Okay. Viktor.
I'm Viktor. At Swarm, we're building basically to decentralize the internet, the entire fucking thing. Maybe it's not 5-year-old compatible, but in the way it's said.
Oof, okay. Decentralized. How do we explain to a 5-year-old what truly decentralized is?
So we're building everything that these folks in the browser are using basically under the hood, yeah.
Okay, so would you agree that if they're in a classroom, we had a big jar of candy instead of the teacher having all of the candy and distributing the candy? All of the kids have the candy, and if you're being good, we all have the right to distribute it. Does that work?
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of, okay. And the jar is the storage, so you're building the jar of the storage, but decentralized to all of the different kids.
Yeah.
All right.
Which doesn't mean it's broken, all the pieces.
Okay. So in your tech stack, because you're building a lot of the different things and layers, what is something that you think you're compromising when it comes to decentralization? Because right now we don't have the solution. So you're making the compromise, but it's at the stake of the usability of the people. What is something that you have to give up on it? Kyle?
Well, I think you could say 99% of what we do is a compromise, because we're going the opposite way. We're starting from where the users are and building the bridge to where we want to be, rather than building an island and hoping people swim over.
Okay, I like that. Meinhard.
Yeah, I'd like to link in there because we both build browsers. So we come from the other side. We built the tunnel from the other side, actually. And our compromise would be very specifically, and this is where we leave the 5-year-old, understandability. The ENS, the name resolution, is we try to do it as decentralized as possible, but it's not fully decentralized yet. So the compromise there is that we trust like a group of people and not a fully decentralized system.
Maria.
Well, you asked the same question in Prague, and I'm worried I still have the same answer, similar to Kyle, that like most of it that we do has compromises. Speaking about Ethereum, from the moment you are downloading a wallet, which you download from some trusted source, you don't verify the signatures mostly, right? Kudos to exceptions there. Then you connect to a centralized third-party RPC that spies on your transaction. Then you connect to a dApp that has a bunch of third parties that spy on you. You connect through a Wallet Connect, which is like another third-party server that like just gets your data. And then you send the transaction to a contract that's completely public on chain, and everybody can see your stuff. So I think there is some compromise in like every part of the stack. And like it's for a long time, I like the name of the panel. I think for a long time we've been lying to ourselves about this. Like, oh, it's so cool, it's all decentralized, right? And for many people, when they come to this and they get the wallet and use the chain, like it might look like that, like, oh, it's just like it runs. But then, you know, the tornado moment happens or something, realize how many compromises there are. So I think that like right now we are actually in a point where we have this discussion, and we had these cases like Tornado where we learned how to work in more environment where we really need to strive for the privacy digitalization. Yeah.
Guys, you see, nothing happened. We admitted that we're all pretending, that we're all acting. 99% of the things are not really decentralized and everything is fine. Now, let's continue that thread of brutal honesty, and let's invite our competitors to help each other out so that we can build more resilient technology, right? But Viktor, what is your take on this question as well? Like, where in your tech stack you think you're compromising the most when it comes to decentralized storage?
Oh, thanks. I would love to convince everyone that we're not making compromises, but actually the very foundation of it is all brittle, because after all it's through adoption and through numbers that things get really working. It's like, just think of a Tinder where only Kyle and me are on it. It doesn't really work, and with all the fake profiles. So just so. After all, we have to somehow build a stack and build through the a lot of kind of economic issues that that lead to adoption, and kind of reach a stage where the adoption can actually make it resilient.
So, from your tech stack, you saw my presentation that I showed two different theaters. One theater as beautiful as this, and another theater built out of the card box. In your tech stack, in your work, what is one piece of technology or software that is the card box? Kyle?
I mean, speaking in the Web3 space, the wallet, we have a built-in wallet for this. And I don't think many people realize this, but the wallets are going to be the thing that gets captured. They are the thing that represents the user, but they are also the thing that economically is most incentivized to build and to expose the capabilities of Web3 to the user and to hide all of the capabilities underneath it. And so if you look at where sanctions compliance is occurring, it's going to be happening in the wallet. If you look at who's actually had sanctions compliance enforced against them, it's been wallets. You look at Exodus, they faced a $3 million fine from OFAC because of this. And so that's really the question is like, we can build all the under stuff in a decentralized way, but the reality is the user's not going to use it if it's not easy, and that's what the wallet is doing, but then the also is a centralization point.
Right. Mario?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. What is a piece of card box that Theater built out of the card box that is currently in your software, in your tech stack?
Hard box?
Card box.
Card
so you
box.
saw, you know how I showed two
Yeah,
theaters?
sorry.
One is built
Yeah.
out of this material and the other one is out of a paper.
Yeah,
What
thank
is built out of the paper at?
Yeah, sorry, just the feedback. Yeah, the card box. Oh my God. Damn.
Pick one.
Yeah, I mean, I was
pick
talking
Kyle
about
said.
I was talking about the stack here, right? And actually, like, despite like the maybe privacy problems, like bunch of the parts are solid. Like what I'm worried the most lately about is just like the security of DeFi, where it's like, you know, even contracts that's been running for a while are being exploited now. So maybe just like the security of the on-chain applications, not just their privacy, but even the security is something that we can question now. And like it looked like, it seemed like for us, like, oh, this is solid, it's been going on for years, but now it turns out it's more of a card box, maybe something that can get wet when it starts raining, and we see more and more exploit. So like the security of the dApps, but also like, you know, this goes further to like the user interactions. Like we saw even Safe being exploited, like the multisig. We see people get in the supply chain attack to make them lose their keys, right? So I guess the security is, sort of a card box that we've built around, and now it's just a lot of work to harden it again, yeah.
Meinhard, with the Freedom browser, what is something thus far that is card box?
So we have the claim not to just read from the DWeb, but also to write to the DWeb, but actually the right user interface. I mean, the technology underneath is solid, but the user interface and how it's set up and how you activate that feature actually within Freedom Browser is a bit shaky, I would say. And that's something we want to work on because we really want to show the power of not just consuming, but also being part of the network. And yeah, it has a few rough edges. The UI was essentially done in a very short time for that. And that's something we want to push much further to also make it more inviting for non-technical people to build a DWeb website.
Mm-hmm. Kyle, you guys have done so much work and research at Brave Browser, also on UX and UI, right? Is there any way that Brave Browser, a team of your members, or maybe there even any published documentation that could help Freedom Browser with the UX UI? Is there some sort of a bridge there?
To a degree, yes, but there's a sea of trade-offs here. Like as you were describing that, I'm just sitting here going, wait until somebody doesn't publish content or their content's not online because their computer got turned off or they decided to go on vacation. What happens when they read content, they start pinning it, and then all of a sudden they publish it, and now you're leaking the browser history. So like this is one of the things that we found with IPFS, and it's the reason we couldn't default it on, was because we realized there's a lot of privacy trade-offs, and a part of our brand value is privacy by default. We're going to have it batteries included, so we aren't going to do it in a dangerous way. And then because of that, it makes a inherent economic trade-off to all the sites of like, hey, we can't publish in this sort of way because we don't know if the user's even on Brave Browser, let alone Brave Browser. It doesn't make it as easy to be able to use a decentralized app.
Mm-hmm. Victor, with a decentralized storage, what is something that is made out of Cardbox thus far?
To be honest, both of these people like talk about the same thing, basically the UX of uploading things. But Yeah, so let's take the positive part of it. Like so if you imagine these candies distributed in the classroom. So if you want a kind of a black candy, just imagine that you have to pick all the colors, but it doesn't matter whether you pick it from a particular person. Like you can just pick the yellow one from Bob. You can pick the red one from Alice, etc., etc. And it doesn't matter whether you shut down or whether, like, if half of the classroom is there, basically you're gonna have your stuff.
So,
you're gonna have your.
In some sense, I agree with everything what you all said, and I kind of formulated the question a little bit. This is me stealing and disagreeing with all of these four guys. I think when I was explaining as well that there's a lot of technical people, and then you have the pure communicators. I think we need more people in that middle ground that will be the collaborators in between ourselves. And I think a lot of the foundations especially are trying to focus. And that's the point. All of you folks have, like, your projects have the arm of the either open source or collaboration, from Brave to EF to Swarm Foundation to Freedom Browser. But my point here as well is that we need more physical spaces where people can truly showcase why decentralization matters as well. So collectives like this as well. So I think taking even a step backwards from the UX, to me, it's how we communicate and what emotions we evoke into the people. I deliberately try to bring more color into our industry. Like, around us, there's a lot of darkness as well. And I truly think that the idea of the hacker in the basement is kind of back in the days, like, it's not there anymore. Like, the original cypherpunk manifesto said that the cypherpunks need to write code, and I would argue, that's also out of the window as well. The next question I have, I would love if anyone in the audience would love to just stand up and shout your answer as well, because I think this is a very sensitive question. But I want to create an atmosphere that this is a safe space, and we're all here truly for the ethical reasons. So we all think the same and share the same hardships. But my question is that what is something that publicly on our websites, maybe even your own Twitter accounts, you shared it, that super great, it works, look at this software, technology, website, organization, meetup, whatever it is. It works, it's amazing, it's cool. But then in reality, it's not really cool, it doesn't work, it's chaos, it's really hard to use, and it's kind of crappy and kind of not usable. What is something in the context of what you're also obviously working on? So who wants to start?
I can start off with one. Crops isn't self-sustaining. There's, like, we talk about cypherpunks have to write code, but also, like, I want a paycheck. Like, last time I checked, open source doesn't pay me. So, like, until you figure out the balance between those two, and, like, that's the hard problem that we've had, is that, like, the number of people who come and complain to me about Brave building in bloatware of AI and crypto without realizing that we're doing it as an option so that we can fund and produce better software, like, that's the real challenge here. If you look at how Google grew to the size that they did, they built an ad network, and then they gave you free search, a free browser, a free operating system, and went and funded Mozilla and gave Apple some money as well. Like, economics matters.
I love that. See how easy it was? It feels much better. I like that. Again, anyone in the audience, if you feel that something we're pretending that is cool and it works, but in reality it doesn't. For example, from my end, I've participated and been behind the scenes of a lot of these conferences, and it is so much hard work to pull these up together, and we're saying how cool, and we all share these pretty images, but the amount of sheer work and hours that it takes in the backstage to make sure that all of the speakers are here, and the amount of funds that go into this, like, some of you started, like, I remember the days where all of the merch was free and all of the food was free, and now we're starting complaining, oh my God, you need to pay for your lunch, So to me, even in crypto conferences, I think we kind of, like, lost the plot. Like, bring your own picnic and then share the food with others. So that's
your
my
chair.
Anyone want some chicken?
Here you go. Mario's starting. If anyone wants some chicken.
You good?
So what is the Web3 stack that, again, we said it kind of works in a public space, but it doesn't really exist or work? Meinhard.
Now I thought of something. So I would say the D-Web doesn't exist. And why am I saying that? In comparison to the clear web, to the normal web, the Web 2 or whatever you want to call it, it's a rounding error. The amount of websites, the amount of storage being used, the actual users of it, the publishers, it's a rounding error. It's just too small. And we can pretend otherwise, but I've seen the numbers. I crawled ENS names for working websites. It's not many. It's a handful. And yeah, I'm not saying it's an unsolvable problem. So we have a very big chicken and egg problem here. And I think that's what was also part of the reason why Brave discontinued shipping nodes with the Brave browser, shipping peer-to-peer nodes. But yeah, we were here to kind of make that open again, open that window. Now with the changed field around us where there's more hacks and where there's more censorship, where there's other threats now re-emerging, that we have been lucky enough to be free, or almost free from for quite some time. But I think now is the time to really kick off the D-Web.
Just to add to that, yeah, so the data that we had with IPFS was that 99.9% of users did not engage with a Web3 dApp. Like, we have privacy-preserving telemetry, and we had data that looked at what was your setting because we couldn't default it on. We had ask, enabled, disabled. 99.9% of people still had it under ask, which means that they never showed up as a site and never had to use it in the first place.
Viktor, do you think Swarm has figured out a bit closer solution to that?
What exactly?
So IPFS, most of the users, they're not really using the system in a decentralized way, right? Like on the front end, it seems decentralized, but actually when you look down into the tech stack, it's very much centralized. So do you think the Swarm Foundation tech stack of the decentralized storage is somewhat closer to actual decentralization?
I mean, it's certainly closer in the sense that, like, IPFS is not really a storage model in the sense that, like, you basically share your hard drive, share your hard drive to the others. And in Swarm, it's actually the little pieces are kind of, travel to their location. So basically, you allow people to upload something, so it's like acts as a cloud service in that sense, which is kind of, so you actually don't need your own node for using that in a decentralized way. It's a major difference, I think.
Mm-hmm. I don't believe that there's not one person in the audience that does not want to take a chance to complain. Here? Oh, wait. Can we mic this one? Yes.
Can I just shout?
Yeah.
Yes, I have a lot of opinions about open source hardware. I'm from Taiwan, and we know that all the semiconductor chip makers are from Taiwan. And to have an open source silicon that is also quality with high performance computing power silicon is really hard to do. And so far, all the crypto hardware wallet that have their chip claiming to be open source, or other hardware that claiming to be open source, nobody has actually open sourced their silicon. My company does open source silicon, but it took us 16 years, $200 million to just make that really high, powerful chip that's open source. We have not made a single dollar. And look at all the other wallets. Treasure Wallet said they are open source. They are so not. The chip is not open source. It's not open source silicon. It's only open source on the circuit board.
Oh, wait, but what about Tropico?
It's also not open source silicon. But you cannot say they are open source silicon. They don't even know what's on their silicon because they buy off-the-shelf chip from another maker that is on the same level as your toaster.
But Tropico 01 is a custom design, open source secure chip by Tether.
It is not as powerful as us.
And it is
not
open source. Like they used the secure element with open source API but proprietary hardware.
I got it. I know. It's secure element with MCU separately. It's not
Yeah, they just had a laser hack. Yeah, by Ledger Lab. I saw it. It was great. Yeah.
I started something bigger than I predicted. Thank you so much for being brave. But this is what I mean, right? I will give you, Kyle, go ahead.
So what I find interesting there is something that you'll see in every debate of any sort of like zealot community is that like, what's your threat model? Like last time I checked, like unless Mossad's out here trying to kill me, like I don't really care. Like if my threat model is like I'm a Syrian refugee, it's a different model than if I'm living in America or if I'm living in New Zealand. And so like the question really comes down to like, what are those properties getting me? What is the privacy properties that I want? Half of what Brave is doing with our privacy properties is we're just trying to cancel surveillance capitalism. We're trying to cut it at its knees at the economic layer by blocking the ads in the first place. So like, this is like a very pragmatic, just really basic thing of like, how do we stop economic surveillance?
And by the way, when there's tension in a room, it's a good thing. I want us to contradict each other and challenge each other and answer it, because that's how we're going to get closer to collaborating rather than staying in those bubbles, right? So I don't see this is not a conflict. And by the way, all of these guys are just trying to answer it well, and I hope you guys also continue the conversation outside of the door. But that's my point, that we need more of these safe spaces to be brave souls and stand up and just stop lying to ourselves that everything is solved, right? So if there's any other soul in here that wants to get something off their chest, this is your last chance. Otherwise, I'm going to go to my final question. Yes, one more person. Oh my God, I don't know what I'm getting myself into with this one. Okay, let's see. Okay.
So what I find interesting is that decentralized community building is supposed to be resilient, and of course, lots of potential there. One of the things, and why I got into this space, is also to help with nature conservation, which has lots of centralization issues and lots of human dynamics issues as everywhere. One of the words over the last 10 years in the crypto space that's connected to that is the regen word, which is promising a more fair and more sustainable future without doing one of the two. So my thing is like also a lot of lying to ourselves, and it's nice if we don't do that. But like,
yes.
Yeah.
Basically, let's not lie to ourselves. Okay, that's a good conclusion as well. So I want to continue doing this as a series as well, just getting us in the room and being very brutally honest. We have 2 last minutes left, and I want to leave on a little bit more positive note. And you guys are someone that are very approachable people. All of you can just walk up and ask questions or start collaborating. From your end, how can we stop lying to ourselves from your spectrum, right? From what you are working on? How can people today after this panel come up to you and collaborate, do, ask, research? Maybe there's a channel, maybe there is a program, maybe there is a website, there's an event, anything that comes to your mind. How do we stop lying to ourselves? Who wants to start? Kyle.
I think first we have to stop lying to ourselves and recognize that decentralization is mathematically not what's most common. There's a concept called scale-free networks, such that if a network is designed where a node has preferential attachment, this is a concept of network theory, that the network will naturally centralize. And as a perfect example of this, capital within any sort of economic system is highly scale-free. It is going to naturally, preferentially attach to whoever has money is going to gain more money, and so you're going to get preferential attachment and you're going to get that centralization. This is how Google was able to create all of the open source software that they contribute to today. So like the better question, and this is why I brought this up previously, is like, what property are we actually trying to solve with decentralization? Let's go to the deeper root of like, what do we want to achieve with it? Not just, it's not a means to an end in and of itself, it's for some other purpose.
So we have just 30 seconds left of the panel. Let's quickly go through. Meinhard, you're next. Viktor, you're next. Meinhard, go.
Sharing stats, sharing facts, just like okay, you can say your stuff is working or it's being downloaded or people use it, but show us the numbers, or we can show numbers, and you will see if that's the truth or not. Just, let facts speak.
Speak facts and show the proof. I love that advice. Victor?
Very good. I mean, maybe if you start being honest, then actually you don't need to. So maybe the lies is because we don't have any interest, and maybe if you start being honest about things, then interest will come just right away.
Okay, so start from within yourself. Be honest first to yourself, whether what you're doing is actually decentralized. Mario?
On this note, take your ideas to their logical consequences, even if it means taking the hard path. We get a bunch of cypherpunks here who love to post about how much they are cypherpunk on Twitter from their MacBooks. So just try to get better, right? Like, I mean, you can, I use Signal, I'm cypherpunk now, right? But I met this crazy dude with Libre-booted ThinkPad running Gen 2, says, I'm aspiring cypherpunk, I'm gonna get there one day, right? So like, let's not abuse these words like crops and cypherpunk and whatever too much. Let's actually think about their meaning and thank you to the logical consequences. Quick follow-up, after this, I'm going to be libre-booting this ThinkPad in a room next to DOD. Come join me. It's a follow-up on my workshop. I'm sorry about the chicken. I just finished one workshop, went to the food, came here, and I'm going to continue. If you want to see how I flash libre-boot directly to the chip, just, crazy thing. It's not fully open hardware, but at least for open firmware, something we can strive for, try to live what we preach.
So from my perspective, guys, thank you so much for being honest. This is what I want to say. How to stop lying to ourselves is by being honest with each other and opening more of these spaces when that brutal honesty, you go through that uncomfortable feeling that some of you might have felt, but then it opens up really beautiful conversations and bridges. And again, all of these guys are very approachable. So from decentralized storage to Brave, Freedom Browser, Ethereum Foundation, or Independent Mario, all of these guys are very approachable. So don't look at your neighbors as the competitors. We're all here for the same goal and the same reason. So hug your neighbor and enjoy the rest of the day and stay here for the live coding session after the 6 p.m. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.